All right, Mark, let's talk a little bit about this past weekend first. After a pretty good performance down in Lake Charles the weekend before, go to Hattiesburg this weekend, and I know not really what you were looking for, unfortunately 0-4. Played a little bit better competition than you did the week before, but just really never could get it going, could we?
No, a lot of things seem to conspire against us, but, again, we did a lot of good things, and we learned a few things about our team and some definite situations that we need to avoid and situations we need to maximize and exploit. And I think it's only still making us better. So despite the losses, which I hate because I hate to lose, at the end of the day, I still feel like we're still very much on track with where we want to be towards the end of the season.
As we break down this last week, and let's start in the circle with your pitchers, just talk a little bit about what you saw.
Well, Michelle battled. She did not have the success she had the week before, obviously, but I still don't think she pitched poorly, just probably not to her top-notch capabilities, and I think she'll polish some things up and be back. I thought she actually closed with a pretty good game against Southern Miss. Unfortunately, our catcher injury kind of hurt us a little bit there, and the exchange in our battery between pitcher and catcher probably, maybe hurt us a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's something we still have to find a way to overcome. But Michelle will do better. Jana and Aaron both had innings, but again, both of them were okay, just not, they would have one really good inning, and then there would be that one kind of mistake inning or bad inning. So we've got to correct that. But, we're excited. Melanie's coming back, and so the addition of her pitching is certainly going to be welcomed. And then, we're going to keep bringing along Anna. We got a chance to take a look at her, and I think she threw 2 strikeouts and a weak ground ball, and certainly gave up, a couple pass balls and a couple walks. But I think you'll see her grow into a role with a little more pitching included besides just playing shortstop.
Well, and I know that you had originally thought that maybe this year you wouldn't try to throw Anna. You wanted to get her completely comfortable at shortstop and maybe work her along. But I know that you had an opportunity in a situation in the game to give her an inning.
Well, absolutely. And what you've got with Anna is I think she's blossomed a little quicker at shortstop than we would expect. I think she's been playing shortstop extremely well. So I think that's allowed us to advance what we were looking at more for next year and just to start incorporating that now. And so when the opportunity to throw her in an inning in a game where it was no pressure and no situation, we were down, and to mount a comeback in the last inning looked, not real positive. I think it was a great chance for her to show. And again, I think she faced, 5 or 6 batters, and basically 3 of them were almost strikeouts. I mean, so it was a situation where she did what we thought. We just got to get her a little more comfortable there, and I think as time goes on, we'll do that.
All right, let's talk about offensively. You lost 4 games, 3 of them by 2 runs or less, so a lot of close games. Just talk a little bit. I know in the 4-3 loss to Southern Miss, I think it was, left 10 base runners on. Just had trouble at times coming up with that big hit you've been talking about.
Yeah, and again, I think that's one that will happen. We're obviously doing a lot of good things to get on base, and then we're stealing a lot of bases, which puts us in an advantageous situation to be in scoring position. We're just not getting that clutch hit at the right time to get runners in. But I don't think as a coach you concentrate on that. It's just like in basketball. You tell shooters, keep shooting. You tell hitters, keep swinging. I mean, eventually they'll fall, and one of those hard hit line drives that ended up being a third out of an inning will end up finding the gap, and all of a sudden you'll score 2 runs. And again, I think the addition of Melanie coming back will help. It inserts another power hitter in that offensive lineup, which allows all of a sudden your 4-hitter to become your 5-hitter and your 5-hitter to become your 6-hitter. And as that slides on down, that'll only help our situation too.
One thing that I was impressed with and didn't really realize until I looked at the stats from just this weekend, but you drew 22 walks and only struck out 9 times, and I think, that's a pretty good job by the batters at the plate.
We have a good approach. I mean, I don't think there's any question. The kids really, offensively we harp on them, and, got to keep getting better, got to keep making adjustments, but, I think their approach is solid. I think our at-bats are solid. There's just 1 or 2 items that just need to click. And when those click, we're going to be right there. We're that close, and we feel it. I mean, if you look at all of our losses, except for 2, have been by 2 runs or 1 run or an extra innings. That's not bad. It's just got to fix itself so that instead of losing the 2-run game, we're winning a 2-run game.
And then finally, defensively, what did you think about this past weekend?
Well, we're not doing bad defensively, but we've got to be a little more aggressive. I think you've seen Dacia start to make a little more aggressive plays in the outfield and making that diving catch. And when we get our other outfielders on that same page and we shore up the infield just a little bit on the routine balls, I'm not talking about the ones that are, really, really hit hard, but just the routine balls to where we're not making that throwing error, that one. And again, we weren't bad, but still, we can still polish it up a little bit.
This weekend, you go down to Northwestern State. You're going to play 5 games in 3 days. You got a couple against Monroe, I think 1 against Alcorn State, and then 2 against Northwestern State, who you faced this last weekend. Are you glad you're going to almost get to see the same team again this weekend?
No, I'm extremely excited that we get to see Northwestern State again, and to see them with a little bit of knowledge about who they are and who we are and what we might need to do differently, and see if we can't maximize that and see if that's not good enough to make a difference in that game. And of course, then, being fully staffed, and not just with Mel. I keep mentioning Mel, but Haley is probably now back about 100%. She'll be going full out practice 100% this week, and I think she'll shake the rust off from the mono from the first couple weekends, and we'll end up having her back to where she can defensively be an asset for us. And I think as those things grow and as the team continues to grow, we'll be just fine. And this weekend's an exciting weekend to see if we can't grow.